So alright, in today's video I want to talk about what Python virtual environments are, as well as how you can easily set one up. Now with that said, a Python virtual environment is like a wine prefix. Think of it like a temporary directory for a one-off project. Essentially, we can install all our packages to it, activate it, then use it from there, and when we're done, we can just delete the whole folder. Now if you're wondering why you'd want to do this, well, it's to not bloat up your system with unnecessary files, because some Python packages like to install a lot more than what you tell them to install. Plus, if you use a Python virtual environment, if you ever want to copy that whole project folder, you can easily copy and paste it onto a different machine and use it on that machine without having to download all your packages all over again. But with that said, before we get started here, I want to mention this. I'm going to try to cover how to do this on under as many Linux distros as we possibly can, as well as how to do this on Windows. For the most part, all the steps are pretty much relatively the same, short of how you install the app, as well as how you activate the Python virtual environment. That step's a little bit different on Windows, so I'll have a separate clip or the command up on screen or in the description if you wish to just copy and paste it. But with that said, to get started here, we need to actually make sure we have Python installed on our system. So to do that, at least for me, under Arch-based distributions like this, it's sudo pacman-s python. Just typing that in and hitting enter, giving it my password, will then begin to install Python on my system. If you're on a Debian-based distribution, the command will be on screen. You would type in sudo apt-get install python. And when it comes to Windows, you just download the executable, or you could get it through winget if you're using PowerShell. But as you can see here, I already have Python, so instead of just reinstalling the application, I'm going to quickly cancel that out and clear my screen. So you may be wondering what we do once we have Python installed. Well, we need to make a directory for our project. That's a given. You can do this through the GUI. I'm just going to make it through the terminal. And if you haven't yet, under Windows, make sure you opened up a command prompt. You can basically use the same command here under Windows as well. And if you're using Debian, it will work there too. Now what I want you to type is mkdir. This is short for make directory, and I'm going to make a directory for this project. Let's just call it tutorial, and then project or something. Then hit enter. Now it might look like it didn't do anything, but in fact it did make a folder, so we can now open that folder up just by typing in cd, tutorial, project, then hitting enter. As you can see, our directory here has changed, meaning we are now almost ready to go. So now that we're in this folder, to get a Python virtual environment set up, this command is actually the same under Windows as well. So just type in python -m venv, and you gotta name this because this is gonna make a Python virtual environment folder. So we're putting a folder inside of a folder basically, and I'm gonna call this one tutorial -env, just to let me know that it's a virtual environment container. I like to end that all the time with -env, and I recommend you to do the same as well. After you've typed that in, just hit enter and give the program a second to generate our virtual environment. So now that that is done, let me make this just a little bit bigger here. You can type in ls. I believe this works under Windows. If not, just type in dir, or you can navigate to the folder with the GUI and look into it. But you should see there's a folder now within our folder with our given name. Since I called this tutorial env, that I already know what it's called, so activating it will be as simple as just typing in that folder name. So now we want to use this virtual environment. To use this under Linux, I'm gonna wait till a little bit and I'll show you how to do it under Windows, because this part's the part where everything changes slightly, because under Windows it's a bit different. So for now, if you're on Linux, follow this part. If you're on Windows, wait a moment or two and I'll show you how to do it there. With that said, what I want you to do is type in source. There's a way to do it without using source, but doing it with source only activates our virtual environment for this specific terminal, which is nice because maybe you don't want your Python virtual environment activated on all your terminals at once. So just type in source, the name of that folder we just made, in this case tutorial env. Then we want to type in bin, and then we want to put another slash, and I believe it's activate. The command should look something like that. Just hit enter, and as you can see, our little terminal here now has a prefix before our username. In this case, it will say tutorial-env. That's how you know the virtual environment has been activated. Now, to prove that this works, we can actually use pip to install some packages. In my particular case, I'm going to install YouTube-DLP because I believe that's a pip package if I remember correctly. So just to install an application into our virtual environment is as simple as just installing it through pip like you would any other time. Except now, the only difference is all these files will download directly into our virtual environment folder. Now, this isn't exactly a clean process, and under Windows you can do the same thing here that I'm about to do. I'll talk about how to set up the project under Windows in a minute, but before I do that, there's one last thing you need to know under Linux when it comes to installing a pip package. Let's just pretend this YouTube DLP project here that I downloaded had a bunch of files that will go into our cache directory normally. Well, you can specify that not to happen, and it will instead go into our virtual environment folder. So adding this simple argument to the end, I'll have it down below in the description if you wish just to copy and paste things. You can do a --no-cake-dir. This means our project will not store anything locally on our system, and I recommend whatever packages you install end with this specific command. If you don't end it with that command, you're still probably going to bloat some stuff up on your system over time. So ending it with this command will ensure that you don't do that. So I'm just going to do the same thing, but as you can see I already have it installed, and we are good to go. Believe it or not, that is it for how to install and set up a Python virtual environment under Linux. Now onto Windows. On Windows, in your command prompt, I'm assuming you followed all the steps up to the part where we need to activate our virtual environment. You essentially want to type in the directory, and then instead of doing activate, it's activate-bat. Or activate.bat if you're under command prompt. If you're doing it through PowerShell, it's activate.ps1. As you can see on screen in the video, just typing that in will change the terminal name exactly like it did under Linux. You'll know once you're in your Python virtual environment because it will change the way the terminal looks. And pretty much using the now activated Python virtual environment on Windows is basically the same as it would be on Linux. But with that said, if I had a project in mind, I would actually build and compile or do something right now with this just to show you that it all works. But just to have some proof to the pudding here, I'm going to do a ls command on that folder and a du, I believe it is, -h tutorial to show that there are files now in that virtual environment. As you can see, it is now slightly larger than it would have been stock-wise, meaning that our YouTube DLP installed correctly. As you can see here, it's actually listed in the files. But yeah, that's basically it for the video, and I hope this really helped you out, because I know it would have helped me out back in the day, and I recommend always doing this, especially if you're teaching somebody new to Python for the first time, because it can become a real big hassle over time not using a Python virtual environment. Things may break, they may not work together with one another, but now you can just have as many virtual environments as you want, and when you're done with the project, you can just delete it and start over if you ever want without messing up your main Python directory. But with that said, I'm going to leave the video off here now. DTPK signing off. Peace. So to see if the server's locally hosting, all you need to do is type in localhost altogether in your web browser. I'm going to eventually put a green LED in mine and paint it white and to make it match my console a bit more.